Welcome back to Entertainment Thursday. And before we went on a break, I was telling you about the National Housing Corporation. There is an event happening in Mombasa, and it's about enhancing affordable housing. Its government wants to capacitate this affordable housing, and National Housing Corporation CEO David Matthew is speaking, and we are joined by O'Brien Kimani, who is in Mombasa attending this event. O'Brien, if you can hear me, take it away.
Mike Migwi, good morning and thank you for joining us. I mean, the government has been talking about delivering or developing about 1 million units of affordable housing units by the year 2027, and this is backed by a number of initiatives. And the National Housing Corporation is one of the government entities who is tasked with ensuring that this aspiration and this dream is achieved. The managing director is David Matthew. He's joining us to discuss more about what the entity is doing to help the government in the realization of this critical agenda of affordable housing. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Matthew, for joining us here. I mean, for the last 70 plus years, I mean, the National Housing Corporation has been at the forefront of delivering homes, houses to Kenyans. Where do we go from here?
Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. It's important to, from the onset, indicate that National Housing Corporation is an agency of government of the Republic of Kenya. And as you rightly said, it's an old institution. We were established in 1953 as a Central Housing Board. Thereafter, around 1968, the corporation got incorporated by way of enacting Cap 117 of the laws of Kenya. And we are supposed to be the principal agency of government when it comes to implementation of government programs and policies. The most active current program of government under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda is housing, and therefore the corporation is quite relevant when it comes to implementation of this particular agenda. It is important to indicate from 1953, the corporation has had various products that have benefited Kenyans in an immense way, transformed a lot of lives, improved the socio-economic lives of Kenyans. For example, we have had units on rental basis. We are here in Mombasa. Changamwe is a good exemplification. If you go to Changamwe, you'll find the corporation has a vast estate of over 1,000 housing units on rental basis. We have houses across the country which are on tenant purchase scheme, a very competitive model because the private sector may not be patient enough like a government institution like National Housing Corporation. So we have a policy where you can pay 10% of your deposit, and then the balance of the payment is paid for a period between 5 years to 18 years. And this is a practice we have had for the last 70 years. It's also important to indicate that we also have very high-end kind of products. We have developed units in Kileleshwa, which we have sold on what we call outright sale. It is also important to indicate now that we are at ICOS 2024, that the corporation also has a very competitive product. We are the biggest manufacturers of extended polystyrene, which is a very good product for walls and for slabs. And we are now exporting up to including Uganda. So yes, so the corporation is at the heart of implementation of the government affordable housing agenda. Yep.
You rightly put it. I mean, we are here at the International Construction Research Conference and Exhibition, which is taking place here in Mombasa. And some of the conversations taking place here is research. How to integrate artificial intelligence in the construction industry. How to green the construction industry, being one of the largest emitters of greenhouse gases. And so as an institution, where do you fit in these two areas?
Thank you very much. That's a very relevant question, relating especially to the fact that we just launched our strategic plan for 2023-2027. We launched this on May 27th this year. Now, at the heart of the current strategic plan, the corporation intends to implement 110,000 housing units by the year 2027, which means we are doing more than 10% of what His Excellency the President intends to achieve in the next 5 years, obviously starting from last year. Now, the whole issue of sustainability and adoption of technology at NHC in offering our products in the design process is critical. For example, National Housing Corporation's project in Homa Bay, it is important for me to indicate it is the first public housing in Africa that has been green rated by World Bank through their IFC Edge certification, becoming the first public housing project in Africa. That is an exemplification of what the corporation is doing as far as mainstreaming of sustainability and green aspects in housing is concerned.
And what does it mean to say that is the first African housing project to be awarded a green certificate by the World Bank?
That is a huge achievement. It means that that building is well aligned to water and energy efficiencies. Operationalizing that building in terms of what we may call the life cycle costing of our houses or our units in Homa Bay, it means overall we are consuming less and less energy. It means we are mitigating the effects of climate action. So the other issue you asked about what we are doing about ICT, it's important to first indicate that His Excellency has guided all the government agencies must migrate on e-citizen. I want to tell the nation at National Housing Corporation, all our 4 major services are fully migrated on e-citizen. So it is very easy for you to apply for a house online. It's very easy for you to make a payment. If you're paying your rents, if you're paying your tenant purchase, money towards the end of the month, all those processes have been made extremely efficient. Above that, National Housing Corporation is the first government agency to roll out on high scale the building information management system. You asked what are we doing in as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. I want to state, in the UK, for example, no publicly funded project can be done outside building information management system. Why is this very important for the corporation? Because we want to ensure that 3 major elements of our housing are achieved. Number 1, we want to assure the country of the quality of the housing development coming from NHC. Number 2, timely management of our projects. And it is evident, just last year on 13th of January, we took His Excellency the President to Homa Bay. We launched our Homa Bay project. As we speak now, we are finalizing, we are doing finishes. Go to Embu. We took His Excellency the President there on 26th of May last year. As we speak, we are already doing the civil works, the road works. The project is almost coming to an end. And that is a commitment we are giving that as National Housing Corporation, by way of onboarding the building information management system, we are able to manage our time. And lastly, the issue of cost escalation. It's a major issue. We have many projects maybe which were started and were never completed. Yeah. And the problem is project management. So having onboarded the BIM, which is our current practice, we acquired BIM last year.
What is BIM?
BIM is a system of design where the architect, the engineer, the quantity surveyor, the contractor, project managers, and those who will come to operationalize the facility are all well integrated. So they collaborate on the design process. You perhaps had, the cabinet secretary yesterday going around, of course, the exhibitions. There's a company here called HiCAD, which sold to us that particular technology. And you could hear them say their biggest client actually in Kenya is National Housing Corporation. Because we believe that. Allow me to say, I was part of ICOS, the first ICOS in 2015. Obviously, before I crossed over to National Housing Corporation as the managing director, I was a pioneering staff of NCA. And it is during the first ICOS 2015 that we discussed BIM. And when I crossed over to the other side, I realized I had an opportunity now as an accounting officer to actually mainstream that very good research practice. That is why you see in the UK, projects are delivered on time. You find projects are delivered on quality. Projects are delivered within cost. And that is the practice we are currently having. If you look at Homa Bay, for example, if I just take one project, and we are in over 17 counties currently. we are finishing that project with very minimal cost variations. And that is going to be our practice as we move forward.
You are a quantity surveyor, and you're bringing in the concept of ensuring that projects are completed on time and within budget. How do you achieve this when the rate of inflation has become highly volatile? I mean, you know, you're always in a swing kind of a mode. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. And so how do you manage to come up with projects that are completed on time and on budget?
Yeah, a very relevant question. Obviously, we exist in a very, there's always economic turmoil. One day the exchange rates are quite high. The other day there's a shortage of construction materials because of certain things happening globally. But what I want to indicate, when we are designing our projects, for example, currently our projects are 52 weeks. That is to say, 52 weeks. And we have a provision in our contracts that for a project of 52 weeks, the contractor ought to have, the contractor ought to have properly predicted the possible economic changes and factored them in their pricing. This is something that is taught in school. Of course, quantity surveyors are also building economists. And that is one parameter that you are taught, that as much as you are pricing, you don't just price with the prices of today. You must also do some bit of prediction. And that is why research is also very important, because when you simulate your costs as a contractor and you have very good data, it can predict where you are likely to be in terms of your pricing 5 months or 6 months from today. Yes.
You talked about your presence in the country.
Yes.
You have project in Nyeri, you have project in Nairobi, in Mombasa, in Homa Bay, in Kisumu. How many units do you have so far in your stable?
We have, allow me to say, we have projects across the 17, currently about 17 counties. And in this year's procurement plan, we intend to be in all the rest of the counties. I would estimate, we do it grossly together with the State Department, because there's no NHC and the State Department. We are all one. At the end of the day, we are all contributing towards the same agenda. Our intention and what we are rolling out, we are building towards 110,000 housing units by 2027. So every contribution we are doing today, 3 years from today. And as I started by saying, the corporation intends to do at least at 10% of what His Excellency the President has committed to do.
It's about 100,000 units?
110 actually, to be precise. Yeah,
units.
to be precise, yeah.
And you're talking about 3 years from now?
Yes.
And so you're talking about bringing on board about more than 30,000
housing units every year. Yes.
Is that achievable?
Yeah, it is achievable. It depends on how innovative, of course, the corporation becomes. And I can say honestly, we have been very innovative in the last few months or few years. We have what is called the Innovative Financing Committee of the corporation. Because the greatest challenge, of course, comes with cost when it comes to funding of infrastructure projects. Through this particular committee, the corporation has been coming up with very innovative ways of funding our projects. That is to say, obviously, NHC is named as an implementing agency of affordable housing under the Affordable Housing Act of 2024. But all that collection may not actually be adequate to actualize the dream of the president, that is 1 million housing units. And that is why, as NHC, we have also given ourselves an opportunity within the law that we can be as innovative as possible. For example, we have a public-private partnership program. Currently, the corporation has been advised. We have been working with IFC. We are just done in terms of tender documentation. We have 3,500 units coming up under PPP, and through an open tender, where we'll be floating a bid for a PPP contractor to come on board to do about 3,500 units. The corporation has moved also to develop a D-rate so that we are able to attract the monies in the private sector. We have been working very closely with the Capital Markets Authority. We are working very closely with the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and that is also a mechanism to ensure that we do proper fundraising and mobilization of resources towards actualization of these particular initiatives. So we have also invited banks to take over most of our TPSs. For example, KMRC has a lot of funds where investors in KMRC, banks, they have money being shareholders. Then NHC is giving out TPSs at 13%. We are in very high level, or quite advanced stage of negotiating with banks. Why don't we then offload all our TPS's book to the banks so that Kenyans are able to access the between 9 and 9.5% interest rate, which actually the president calls a single digit, come out of the 13% by NHC. We receive our money in advance. We start implementing new projects as our customers are also enjoying lower rates. And this will be for a longer duration. NHC gives you up to 18 years. The rates coming from the bank will be between 20 to 25 years tenor. So we believe we are giving a value proposition, and all these initiatives obviously will culminate into us being able to do around 30,000 housing units every year.
Very good. I mean, we're in the company of Mike Meek, we're in the company of David Matthew, who's the Managing Director and CEO of the National Housing Corporation of Kenya, joining us here to discuss more about what the agency is doing to help the government achieve its mandate of ensuring that Kenyans have proper, affordable housing as well as decent houses. I mean, you have heard it from here. Back to you in Broadcasting House, Mike Meek.